Hello, welcome to another edition of What the Papers Are Saying. Thank you for making time to join us for another edition. What the Papers Are Saying, we'll look at the big stories for the week. We'll look at the various angles of these big stories. My name is Vivian Lokko. When we come back, I'll take you through the big stories for the week. Stay with us. So welcome back to What the Papers Are Saying. A lot of stories made headlines this week. We'll narrow it down to the very big ones. Of course, we'll start with the fight against Galamsey. Some developments around that fight this week. We'll start with the Daily Graphic and we'll look at the story they reported with regards to the fight against Galamsey. They say government determined to win Galamsey war. Emmanuel Ama Kofi Boa. The Chronicle, Western Regional Minister urges military to rededicate themselves to Galamsey fight. And then the Informer, Galamsey fight, coalition faults minister over concrete measures to address it. So those are the stories from the fight against Galamsey. Remember, another story that made headlines this week over Galamsey was the attack on City FM's Western Regional correspondent by some illegal miners. Also made headlines this week in the fight against Galamsey. In a bit, we'll look at that angle as well. Let's move to the State of the Nation address, which happened on Thursday. The President of the Republic, upon assuming office on Thursday, made his first address to Parliament over the State of the Nation. How was that captured by the various news outlets? Let's start with citynewsroom.com. They say, State of the Nation address, I will fix Ghana's economic crisis. That's Mahama pledging. Channel1news.com, State of the Nation address, Mahama orders arrest and asset freeze of NSA scandal suspects. And finally, on the State of the Nation's address, we'll take you to myjoyonline.com. They say Mahama talks about unemployment, but all he does is sack minority leader speaking over there. We move away from that. Let's go to the vetting of the deputy ministers and some of the takeaways from that exercise, which is one of the big stories for the week. Let's see how that also was captured by various media outlets. We start with Daily Graphic. They say Dr. Park admit to harsh comments on Galamsey. All this being gleaned from the vetting exercise this week. The Ghanaian Times, Minister Designate promises to eliminate corruption through digital technology. Channel1news.com, majority recommends approval of Srimsai Suhini, two others amid minority boycott. And finally, on citynewsroom.com, Afenuma can use unparliamentary words on Ahiafo. This is the majority side of Parliament speaking. Finally, to our big story for the week has to do with negotiations with Labour and government and how that panned out and the matters arising from that negotiation. We'll start with that and also look at issues to do with the TUC and happy with some dismissals in the public sector following the coming into power of the new government. So how have they been responding to this matter? We start with the Ghanaian publisher. They say, stop sacking workers, TUC tells Mahama. The new publisher, halt mass public sector termination, TUC tells Mahama. Then we have the Informer, revocation of appointments. We told you so as government defense decision. And finally, on TUC and issues to do with recruitments and dismissals, channel1news.com says reconsider mass revocation of public sector jobs, TUC to Mahama. So those are the big stories for the week. When I come back, I'll introduce my guest and then we'll look at the stories. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Life is a celebration of moments. Big and small.
The sun is scorching, I'm feeling the heat.
With Piva Drink, every moment becomes a refreshing celebration. From the beach to your home, in every corner of your world, Piva Drink at a burst of refreshment.
Give me Piva cocktail and tangerine.
Celebrate every moment with Piva Drink. Refreshment for every occasion. Piva Drink, a taste you will love.
P for Piva.
This advert is FDA approved.
One upgrade is nice, but a double upgrade is amazing. And that's how we do it. Upgrade today to get even more with Step Up. If you're on GoTV Max and upgrade to GoTV Super, you'll get way more with GoTV Super Plus.
It's so cool!
Get big value. Get big entertainment.
Very good.
Perfect! Upgrade and get even more with GoTV. GoTV. Love it.
Love is sweet and beautiful when you find a partner who's willing to find a solution to a problem. This week, Chris Carter and his sisters discuss and seek expert opinion on a very delicate matter.
My wife is a wonderful woman, kind, loving, and compassionate. But there's one thing I can no longer endure: her snoring. For years now, she has been snoring like a freight train. I don't know where to turn. That's why I'm writing to you. If anyone can offer me any advice, it's you. Please help me.
Like you can't
Like
even
what
sleep
way?
to the extent that you know exactly what time. Speak to a doctor. Speak to a doctor. Ask the doctor what you can do. I think he's just looking for a solution. He's just somebody who is stressed, a husband who is stressed and trying to find a solution to the problem as best as possible and not run away from his problems.
But some of these little things, they eat up your soul, they eat up your spirit. So I wouldn't say that it is enough reason, but I won't falter him if he decides to leave because of this.
Tune in this Friday at 9 p.m. on Channel 1 TV for in-depth conversations. Sister is proudly sponsored by Cindy Rice. Cindy Rice, sweet aroma, great taste, and Kiwo Pepper.
So you're welcome back to What the Papers Are Saying. My name is Vivian Lokko. Thank you for staying with us. Let me introduce my guests for today, and then we'll look at the big stories and the different angles from the various media outlets. Samuel Altamensa is here with us at Channel 1 TV, as well as City FM. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
And then we have our lawyer, Selim Adodu, also here with us at Channel 1 TV, as well as City FM. Selim, welcome.
Thank you, Vivian.
Right. So, gentlemen, we'll start with the State of the Nation address. President Mahama was in Parliament today to address the nation through the lawmakers. And this is his first since assuming office for his, after winning the elections in December. Many things he said during that address to Parliament. I'll take you through about 6 or 7 quick headlines, and then I'll pick your comments on that quickly. And I'll start first with the State of the Nation proper. He believes it is not looking good. So I'll pick a story from City Newsroom quickly. It says President John Mahama has delivered a grim assessment of Ghana's current state, declaring that the country is in crisis. Now, presenting his first State of the Nation address, of his second term to Parliament, Mr. Mahama did not mince words about the gravity of the situation. Quote, "I am sad to report that the state of our nation is not good," he stated, highlighting the severe economic crisis and the unprecedented hardship faced by Ghanaians. Now, the president emphasized that the upcoming National Economic Dialogue, scheduled for March 3rd and 4th, along with the Finance Minister's budget presentation on March 11, will provide a detailed overview of the nation's economic challenges and outline possible solutions for the economy. And quickly around that, he's also promised that he won't lament, he will fix the economy. Let me quickly take you to Channel 1 TV on that. They say President John Mahama has made it clear that his focus is on finding solutions to Ghana's problems rather than lamenting or assigning blame. Quote, "Mr. Speaker, it is not my style to shift blame when confronted with challenges," President Mahama stated. "My approach is to work hard and solve them. Indeed, this is what the people of Ghana elected me to do." So those are some of the statements he made around the economy proper. Salom, I'll start with you on your thoughts. The right words, not lamenting, going to fix the issue, hoping to give us more details during the budget presentation, and of course, telling us what we've always known, that we are in crisis.
Well, thanks, Vivian. Before that, let me again congratulate you on your graduation.
Oh,
I mean, it's not easy to have a master's program.
Thank you.
Degree. Congratulations.
I'm
again.
waiting for the mumbo.
Yeah. And
you
guys made me feel uneducated.
You are the lawyer.
To you,
Ivy, Frema, and
Ogbo, and all of you.
Thank you.
It's good to have the strong women in the house. Yes, the State of the Nation address. It's a constitutional requirement, really, but this is special or unique in the sense that it's the first of a new president. You know, notwithstanding that he's been president before. So yes, he said he won't lament, but he will talk about things which will look like lamentation. So if you realize the opposition MPs are trying to pin it on him that he was lamenting. It was a litany of lamentations. If you win an election, you won the election on the back of a certain message that the economy wasn't good or a number of things were not good, so you are better. So you don't come into power and praise the previous government. Sometimes, if some things are good, ideally you should be able to say this was good, this was bad. But in the policies you've seen over the period, you don't see that. So sometimes the person can be selective, use the data sets they want to use, etc. So yes, that's the minority's concern. But I think we all saw prior to the election that things were tough. Things were really tough, and things are still tough. So the president says the economy or the state of the country was not good, and that is in various forms, and that he pledged to fix it. Things have not been good. I mean, let's face it. I mean, things have not been good. Things have been hard. Economically, things have been very, very tough. And that is from the economy, the exchange rate, inflation, a whole lot of things. So if that is the economy, then things have been tough. Things have not been very good. And perhaps that was one of the reasons why the president, as we have him now, got the kind of victory he got in the election. Very emphatic, a message that people wanted things done differently. So yes, he may say he did not want to lament, but he ended up saying a few things about the problems he came to meet. So if we are talking about problems, you know, you have to be very tactful not to appear like you are lamenting, because that's what it is. And so yes, he said he was not going to lament, but he did complain. It's also unique and important because you have to set the baseline so that when somebody takes maybe your fourth year address, for example, they can contrast it and say that, okay, this was what you came to meet, and this is Parliament. The Hansard captures it. This was what you came to meet, and this was what you did when you left. So when you compare what he did today to what former President Akufo-Addo did in January when he was leaving that last address to Parliament, you realize that there's a stark difference. He painted a picture of a country that was doing well, not too rosy, but recovering was on the path to greatness.
Yeah.
Now he has come to show the other side of it. The truth perhaps may be in the middle somewhere. And so, yes, I didn't expect him to come and sing praises. I expected him to come and tell us the other things we did not know. So, for example, he talked about cocoa board. He talked about the energy sector, that which you knew about. He talked about the debt itself and all those difficulties. We need to know them so we know how to brace ourselves up for the weeks and days ahead. So, yes, the country, the health of the country is not good. I'm sure that's common knowledge. But the hope is that, the country has been set on a certain path, and we hope that they continue and build upon it so that, we'll be better.
Okay. Let me bring in some. So we all know that, like you said, the country is in crisis and all that. Isn't it time that we now are told, moving from the everyday telling us it's in crisis, but told the solutions for us to move forward? I mean, I think most of us, or most Ghanaians, have a good idea or a fair idea about the state of the nation based on what they feel every day when they are taking care of their families and all that. But anyway, your thoughts on his speech on the not really wanting to lament, but also to prefer solutions and what we should expect as a nation.
Thank you, Vivian, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
For your master's program and master's degree in international business. Is not a joke. We used to have a product called Alafia Bitters, and the slogan there is that not a joke. Alafia Bitters, not a joke. So what you've done, not a joke. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let me come to President Mahama. So from the year year 2001, I think the tone of the first State of the Nation addresses have not changed.
Okay.
And the structure hasn't changed either. It always comes with a tone of triumph on the new president, poking at the past president. Now, the slight difference, I must say, is that President Mahama managed to touch on all the nodal points that drive the economy and give a measure as he met it.
Yeah.
And a measure, in some cases, numerical figures. Talked about the cocoa board issue and the other places, energy sector and all that. And that's what we expect him to do. Was I surprised? I'm not so sure that I was surprised. But the MPP also has a response to some of the issues that he raised, which is fair. And I would expect that tomorrow, the MPP put themselves together and respond to it. Otherwise, by weekend, the only truth we know is what President Mahama has said.
They quickly had a press conference.
That was hurriedly arranged. I mean, you don't think that John Mahama's message was hurriedly written. It was carefully thought through. So the MPP should sit and do a good job. I mean, you can't. What Gideon addressed, yes, is good, but that doesn't answer all the questions. It doesn't tick all the boxes. They should do a more thorough job. That's what I think. But it was straight to the point. It was to be expected, And as Salom said, you're not expecting President Mahama to come and praise MPP. Really, why should he do that? If he makes a statement of fact and you have a different view or different reality to it, just let us know. It's as simple as that. But I think he's made his point. But let me also say that more often than not, the claims made in these speeches actually sets our expectations as citizens in terms of the mission of the presidency. What we have seen is that there's a what the eventual outcomes of their performance tends to be a far out,
from
deviation from what they set out to do. And so we want to hope that all the things that he says he will do them with speed. He talked about allegations of criminal activities, especially he mentioned National Service Secretariat and all that. And I believe that if indeed people have done what we hear they have done, then the speed of prosecution is very necessary. We can't have a 4-year back and forth.
Investigation
It doesn't help anybody, because you are doing it not because you hate the person. You are doing it so that you send a signal to people who may find themselves attracted to some of these schemes. Because it's not just National Service Secretariat. There are other places. There are plenty places. As he said, when you look at the oral submission, over 2,000 issues have been raised. If we really, really want to do a good job, then we need to handle this thing with speed. And we should be humble enough to announce when, after pursuing certain people, if they are innocent, let's announce that it turns out that they are innocent. If they are guilty, let's prosecute them. It's just as simple as that.
Quick. Right. So, which other areas caught your attention? For some others, like the NSA, he saying that he's ordered that they be declared wanted, and then some believes these exercises should be done swiftly to deter others from. Which other areas?
Well, I mean, the comment on the 24-hour economy and the way he roped in the pharmaceutical sector. In fact, he said that he has a record of having invested so much in the pharmaceutical sector. And so we see that in the pharmaceutical sector, it's one of the low-hanging fruits. If you want to optimize growth in a sector, the pharmaceutical sector is one very fertile place to do. And he credited himself for having invested in that sector. If you're talking about 24-hour economy, and he says he wants to make Ghana the pharmaceutical hub of West Africa, I think that's very doable. And so he must start now, make the right decisions, make the right investments, and give them the right incentives to ensure that the 24-hour economy thing they talked about, which also helped them to win the election, is started. And it's such a huge industry, and they want to build it further, perhaps to like what we see in India, etc. If you're able to build that place well, and it takes more people, you would have ended up employing more people, making good of your 24-hour economy. So I expect him to start work right from there, because it is a very fertile place to start from. He talked about the energy sector. The energy sector is one of the major headaches this government will have, and I'm sure the previous government had as well. The investment in the sector must improve, and we need to understand why the sector hasn't improved significantly in terms of its debt. We've been hearing the energy sector debt, legacy debt, for a very long time. And as we speak, he said that about 70 billion of that still remains, even though ESLA, which was meant to be for 5 years, but later on 7-8 years, is contributed to paying over 45 billion of that. We still have about 70 billion of that left. Where are we going to get that money from? I mean, so we need to look at that for the cash waterfall mechanism for the distributor. I mean, that the distributor was to use to help offset or pay the other persons in the chain. We need to get back to that. We need to deal with the inefficiencies, the losses, commercial, etc. Because losses at this time we hear around 35-40%. It doesn't make sense that you produce 100% and 35-40% of that goes waste. I mean, you can't be profitable, you can't be viable if that is how your sector looks like. So I think we really need to sit up properly and have a proper conversation around the energy sector. Thankfully, John Jinapor is one guy who appears to have some good understanding of the sector. I hope he's able to put that in good use, consult, build a team to be able to get to the bottom of this. And it was even surprising, or it was interesting that a week or so after the previous government left, I mean, we were almost in doom. So, which tells you how, you know, how delicate.
Well, the minority says that if that was the case, they wouldn't have really gotten money to pay for that for what they went to pay to keep the lights on.
But
that picture shouldn't be.
No, but that's the fact. I mean, there was something to happen, the pigging or the maintenance of the West Africa gas pipeline, etc. If things were better, if there was enough funds in the sector and things were fine, you would have procured the crude way ahead of time so that this pigging or this maintenance wouldn't be an issue. Okay. It became an issue because the crude hadn't been procured and treated. And so the time, they said they would need about 3 weeks to treat that, etc. So it was just left like that, and the new government had to take it. And the thing is, okay, we were able to deal with it. There was no doom so. So now you have come, take it, and also ensure that there is no doom so. We cannot be running the country like, where are the buffers? So it means that if I blink or I close my eyes for 1 minute, the whole country goes off. We cannot continue to be sitting on tenterhooks. Okay. The energy sector is key. If the 24-hour economy is to succeed, we need to fix the energy sector, because we are talking about 24 hours. And one of the key things they say they want to do is to improve security, you know, improve energy, and etc. If we are having doom so, there will be security issues. How will you ensure that police are properly lit, criminals don't hide in the corner, if somebody closes from work in the night, they don't attack the person, etc. So the energy sector is key to the survival of the economy, and it's also key to the success of the 24-hour economy. And I hope that they know that.
Okay. Just a little comment on the reference to the pharmaceutical companies. I remember under President Mahama how he engaged the local pharmaceutical companies, and so if he has it as part of his plans to revamp the local pharma companies, I think it's in the right direction. Having said that, I think, you know, revamping the pharmaceutical industry is not a supply-only function, where by increasing the activities and increasing their volumes of supply, you create a bigger industry. It is one industry that is driven heavily by consumption. Yeah. So you will not resource them, and then we have government buying directly from India and China others, to compete with the same people. Locals. That's what we have seen. You go to the local pharma industries, the competition they are having from companies from India. And I'm not even talking about the fake ones, that's aside. Yeah. I'm talking about regular ones. Big giants. And they have all the resources to beat us. And this time what they do is that we either beat you or you join us. Yeah. So they make it attractive to compromise on your local manufacturing processing so that you can latch on to their process. They produce or manufacture for you. You understand? So I think that we should, yes, it's good, but we should stretch beyond and move along the entire supply chain within the pharma industry. And that is how we can sustain the growth. Okay.
This is what the papers are saying. I'm here with Samuel Atamens as well as Stella Madono. When we come back, we'll look at the TUC's advice to President Mahama on the recent dismissals we are seeing in the public sector. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Love is sweet and beautiful when you find a partner who's willing to find a solution to a problem. This week, Chris Carter and his sisters discuss and seek expert opinion on a very delicate matter.
My wife is a wonderful woman, kind, loving, and compassionate. But there's one thing I can no longer endure: her snoring. For years now, she has been snoring like a freight train. I don't know where to turn. That's why I'm writing to you. If anyone can offer me any advice, it's you. Please help me.
Like you can't like even sleep to the extent that you know exactly what time. Speak to a doctor. a doctor. Ask the doctor what you can do. I think he's just looking for a solution. He's just somebody who is stressed, a husband who is stressed and trying to find a solution to the problem as best as possible and not run away from his problems.
But some of these little things, they eat up your soul, they eat up your spirit. So I wouldn't say that it is enough reason, but I won't falter him if he decides to leave because of this.
Tune in this Friday at 9 p.m. on Channel 1 TV for in-depth conversations. Sister is proudly sponsored by Cindy Rice. Cindy Rice, sweet aroma, great taste, and Kiwo Pepper.
Welcome back to What the Papers Are Saying. My name is Vivian Lokko here with Selim Adonu as well as Samuel Atamensa. We're looking at some of the big stories for the week. We'll move to the story to do with the dismissal of some public sector workers. The Ghanaian publisher, for example, captures it this way. They say, stop sacking workers, TUC tells Mahama. And then you also have the new publisher also going around that same line, halt mass public sector termination, TUC tells Mahama. And then if you go to Channel 1 News, for example, you have reconsider mass revocation of public sector jobs, TUC to Mahama. So guys, we have the Trade Union Congress finally making some statement on these dismissals, which we're told has affected almost all the public sector institutions we have in the country, including those in the health sector, among others. Let me start with you, Salom, on your thoughts on these dismissals. Legally, is this right, or constitutionally?
Well, I mean, once you're the public sector, you don't just dismiss people or revoke appointments like that. I mean, it must be done with just cause. And I think that has been the discussion, really. It must be with just cause. And just cause means that there should be the establishment of something that will make the person have to go home. But this is more than that, you know. I think it's been something in our politics that if a particular government is leaving, the government wants to put a lot of people in places before it leaves. So, and let me also say that I don't know the number. They keep saying a lot of numbers.
Thousands.
Of course, the MPP will say thousands of people. NDC is quite quiet on the number because, so we don't know. We've had 20,000, we've had 10,000, we've had 5,000, we don't know how many. But the point is, yes, government is a continuum. Government has a 4-year term. You come to office on January 7, you leave on January 6. So within that period, you know, every action you do, once it follows, you know, the laid down processes and rules and laws, it's deemed legitimate. So appointments and things like that, legitimate. That's a good argument, a legal argument. But there's a moral aspect to that discussion as well. So, for example, you are in power for the last 4 years or last 8 years. You don't see the need to appoint 20,000 people. You lose an election. Just when you lose an election and you know you are leaving, you now saddle the next government, which has been complaining about the economy, etc., with about 20,000 or 10,000 people on the public sector wage bill. Okay, the new government hasn't even had a full sense of what is there, and now they are having to deal with 10,000 or 20,000 people extra.
No, it's deliberate.
But it couldn't have been inadvertent. It's deliberate.
But if government is continuous and people have to be employed,
because employment is a deliberate thing. So I don't think the blanket revocation is the way to go. Some processes might have begun some time back, and we know how these things work. You know, somebody just doesn't appear. Maybe things might have started in August, September, October, November, and maybe because election is lost, it's fast-tracked, or maybe that's how it works. That's fine. If the process started way back and it concludes around that time, I can take that. But where even there are no records of interviews, where dates have been hurriedly put, things have been backdated, dates have been written hurriedly and all of that, then that clearly cannot be. That even does not satisfy the due process. Because you must go through a certain process. And employment in the public sector is quite difficult. You have to go through a certain process to get there. So if the persons haven't gone through the process and they were just pushed in there because, I mean, we are leaving, so let's give you jobs before we go, so that when these guys come, you know, you don't have to struggle, etc. That cannot be in good faith. That is bad. We saw in 2008, 2009, when Kufuor was leaving, there was the single spine pay policy that was being worked on for a long time. Okay, just when the party lost election and he was going, he implemented the single spine pay policy. The new government, which hadn't settled, we didn't know what was even there. Like Mahama says, you know, we have a sense of what it is, but until you get there, you don't know the full facts. Who didn't know what was there? We're now saddled with the single spine pay policy, which was a huge departure from what the people were taking. You know, the wage bill had ballooned. How did you expect the new government to deal with this? Thanks to organized labor, they agreed with the government to suspend the implementation of that. If they hadn't agreed, how was the Atamu's government going to settle? How was it going to pay workers? Already we say that the public sector has just about, I mean, less than 1 million people, but their emoluments alone take a huge chunk of our budget. And now you have increased it, and you want, how would they deal with it? It's the same situation we find here. NDC also does it, okay? We have to come to a point where we say that, okay, this is not helping us. Let's not do it. NPP is complaining today, all right, that they are sacking their people.
Yeah.
NDC may also do it when they lose an election and they are leaving. They may put some people in there. The same people complaining today will repeat it.
Yeah.
We saw Osafo repeat at the vetting.
So all of them do it.
So for MPP complaining, I find it hugely hypocritical. Even in this case, these are people who are new recruits. A lot of them will have to undergo probation, etc. In fact, elsewhere, okay, go through a probation. Silent instruction to everybody. They are all under probation. Nobody will pass probation. Let them all go home. That could have also happened, okay? Yeah. I find it very hypocritical. These are new people. When MPP came, there were people who were already in the public sector for years. But for whatever reason, they found something, not just cause, and just asked them to go home. These were people who were in the sector for 3, 4, 5 years. They didn't find anything. I mean, they just said they should go home.
Find a way to get them out.
You get me? And they are the people complaining now. These were people in the system.
Rich.
They were not hurriedly employed. These are people, I mean, we've seen letters. And I mean, no interviews, nothing in many of the cases. Again, it's bad to people. There are no jobs. People struggle. They get jobs. They go home.
Yeah.
It's traumatic. Okay, it's
lots
bad.
Of people are
but
unemployed.
You see, there's something we call the greatest good for the greatest number of people. Okay, something in jurisprudence. If for the sake of these people, the economy will crash, it's better they stay home for the economy to do well, expand, and they can get in later. If you know, it's not a very, it's not a very nice point. It's not a very nice. It's not a very nice point they make. If they've been at home for so long, they won't die. But if the economy crashes, that was the excuse they gave us before we took the DDEP. It's better for the economy to do well, then we can all benefit.
Okay.
So it's very hypocritical of the MPP. And now, a lot of the things they want to do, they are basing it on this. We heard Avenue Marking this afternoon. Dismissal, sack. You know, and some of the offices, in fact, a lot of people are on probation. They just ask them to go home, we'll call you later, etc. What's probation? To see whether you can do the work, to see whether you like the work. If you don't like the work, you yourself can go. If you also see you are not doing well, you can go. The contract, that's how it is. So they should tone down and allow things to grow naturally. If they are appealing, yes, we can take it. But to demand us of right, when sometimes the processes have not been followed properly, I think it's wrong.
Okay.
And again, I don't think it should be blanket. They should look at them case by case. Those ones which genuinely started many months ago, a few months ago, they should look at those.
So anybody who started after the December 7th.
No, but if after December 7th, from nowhere, no trail, from nowhere, you have appeared, that clearly cannot be good faith.
Okay.
Why didn't you employ them long time? Because you know that there are implications on the wage bill. And we're leaving, so you don't care.
So
you want the other one to suffer.
Do it.
It's not proper. It's not good faith.
Okay, let's bring in some on his thoughts on these. TU says, hold, don't do it.
That's a trade union congress, so you expect them to. But I think that TUC on this particular issue, a statement is not enough. Is not just a statement is not enough.
How far should they
you need to go beyond the statement. I mean, you can't just sack people because you suspect that they were not employed properly. I mean, I think the legitimate thing is to review the processes that got them employed. I would have wished that Julius Deborah's statement would say that, okay, anybody who commenced the job after the 7th of January, we are going to review the process, and that's legitimate. You understand? But as Salom said, allow people to go to court, ordinary citizens to go to court to challenge it, allow journalists to complain about it and put pressure on government to stop it. But as for MPP people, they shouldn't talk so. You see, and politicians should learn from this. They should learn, including NDC, that the manner in which you pillage people from their workplaces because you don't like their faces, you don't like their surnames and all that, it's only a matter of time. It will catch up with you. It's 4-year term, 8-year. It's up to you. The next person comes based on how you treat their people. They also do something to you. We have seen it. When MPP came, they sacked people from offices. And Salam was saying that they will find a reason. They didn't find any reason.
Just leave.
They look at you. And then I remember in one particular instance that I had to go and intervene. The man there told me that it's order from above that he should go, so I've sacked him. He told me, not somebody else. And this is MPP people. So they shouldn't talk some. They should keep quiet and watch media do. What they did at the time, 2017-20, was so wrong. What NDC is doing is so wrong. As a country, we need to come to terms with this and make a determination on how we manage some of these transitions. Okay? Now, they are sacking people. Even in certain places, they have had to reverse promotions. Okay? But really, how do you effect promotion after the 7th of January? We can talk. Look, we can even talk about the military that nobody is talking about. President Akufo-Addo's last State of the Nation address on the 3rd of January, he was through the State of the Nation promoting military people.
That's right.
And I'm not by this saying they don't deserve it. I'm saying that there are a lot of questions about the timing of the promotions of the military generals. And you see, promoting somebody to a general is not a joke. So you don't do it at that time of your exit, where the military council involved. Who else was in the picture? Was the announcement the first time the military community had the promotion? You see, so the NDC, they have every right to review. Is the mass reversal and cancellation. At the end of the day, these are Ghanaians anyway. And you say you want to create jobs, you cannot create jobs by dismissing people just like that.
Ghanaians,
So we need to be fair to everybody. Reversal of promotions, hey, go. Hey. You watch, and I'm saying that check the content of the State of the Nation's address. Let's give ourselves 3 years and come back and measure. This is what happens all the time. So let's be careful how we proceed on these dismissals. That's what I can say. Let's be careful. If the process of onboarding the people was wrong, we can review it. If we have to reverse it, yes. If we have to let people reapply, yes. But this mass dismissal and things, it doesn't tell a good story at all. But if they want to review, they should review throughout. They shouldn't be selective. They should enter the military. and find out how come some people. We had the first time on the 3rd of January when the former president was leaving. Then he announced that they have been promoted to lieutenant general, to 4-star generals, and all the like. And let me repeat, I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I am saying that the manner in which it was done leaves more questions than answers.
Right. Okay.
The timing is a lot of it is timing. So what changed? Why couldn't you do it before? What changed? Why at that time? And of course, NDC also did one with the Domelevo and all of that. Those were not ordinary appointments. Those were constitutional offices. But NPP was critical of it. Was very critical of it. So what has changed? I think we need principle in governance. We need principle to make our democracy work. And I recall that during the transition, these matters were raised. That if you continue doing it and we come back, we will revoke it. So no, we have a 4-year term. The 4-year term doesn't end just after election. There is a handing over. All of that. That was when I think the discussion should have been held properly. We saw a statement issued by the NDC side of the transition. The MPP side led by Fatih issued another one that they hadn't agreed on anything, and that government was a 4-year term. You know, all of those, we need to have a proper way around it. We really need to have a proper way around
this message says, in reaction to the timing, he says graduate teachers were asked to apply for postings in September 2024 when the portal was opened. We applied and went through the process. Our appointment letters were released in November and we started working before December 7. Yet graduate teachers' appointments are all revoked. How? He questions. We have been posted to villages and deprived areas. GES should do something about our plight, and we call on NAT, NAGRAD, CCT, Ghana, etc. to intervene.
So you see, something like that, it might have, and these guys, they have to do financial clearance, finance ministry. It's a process.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, that, and so I mentioned the word review, which is great, as a case-by-case basis. These ones, yes, these ones are fine. We can live with this. But where it is abrupt, that is a problem. So these ones,
they've all been added to the
yes, and I think I heard Akando when the nurses were complaining
that he wouldn't touch the health workers.
Yes, and that they will look at it in a certain way. So maybe the way the statement came, maybe could have been better. But this one, for example, where clearance was given way before, I think they need to look at it.
But once they are professionals, you know, the pathway for career progression for professionals is different from the random one. Once they are professionals, it means they are if you like, regulated by certain level of ethics. Okay, and so once they present themselves and they go through, the worst you can do is actually to review the process.
Review is the way.
I mean, you sack them for what? I don't get it. You can't sack them. You can't just sack them. Graduate teachers, they've gone through training, they've gone through the process. If anything, you want to review the process. But wholesale, reverse, look, this thing, it will catch up with you. It will catch up with you.
All right, guys, we move from there. Let's do a bit of Galamsey. Our reporter, our Western Regional reporter, was attacked last week Friday, covering a story to do with the takeover of a forest area by illegal miners. We're told a number of people have been arrested. They have been processed for court. They are to reappear in court sometime in March. The minister in charge of the sector, Emmanuel Ama Okofibo, has condemned that incident, as well as the Western Regional Minister and some well-meaning Ghanaians as well. The fight continues, but the impediments are still there, and the process also keeps, running in circles.
The fight is not a joke. It's not a joke. It's a big deal. I mean, if people make money and all of a sudden you want them to stop when there are no clear alternatives, it's a problem. It's a fight we must not give up on. It's a fight we must win. But in going into that fight, we must also know that some of these will happen. My heart goes out to my colleague, Akweseni Meje, and I trust he's doing well. These are occupational hazards. But it is wrong to attack a journalist. A journalist is just doing his job. He has a mandate. He's doing his job. It is wrong to attack a journalist. And the way we ensure these things don't happen often is to decisively deal with the perpetrators when they happen. So I'm happy that people have been processed for court, and I'll pray that the courts will deal with this decisively, mete out punishment commensurate with what they have done, taking into consideration the seriousness government wants to attach to the fight. Of course, judges have discretion. When you are sentencing, you have a range or a spectrum. You do maybe between 1 to 5 years. So you can give the person 1 year, you can give the person 5 years, you can give the person 3 years. They must give punishment that will be deterrent within the band, deterrent enough so people don't continue doing this. Today it is, I could say immediately, tomorrow we don't know who that person will be. When the society is growing, these are some of the things we must stop. So I pray that they go through the process quickly. We don't want to hear that the case is stalled, etc. We will ensure that the case doesn't stall. They are punished properly so that it serves as deterrent to the rest of the people. But the fight is important. And I'm happy with Babin's pledge to crack the whip on MPs who are found in the space. We understand quite a few of them are interested in the Galamsey, or they benefit from the proceeds of Galamsey. That's shameful. Let's see how that goes. Any politician, NDC politician, found in this, the signal Mahama must give to show us that he does not condone this is to deal decisively with that person. That's key. So we don't see what happened in the Akunta mining and Wound to Me matter. We don't, so it doesn't appear as if officialdom is condoning or in league with the people. Deal with them decisively, and that will send a good signal.
Okay.
I've run out of
tired with it.
Yes, I've run out of. It's tiring now to deal with this issue of Galamsey. But just to give the benefit of the doubt, the minister looks like he means business, and so we as media, we will promote any leader who is committed to eradicating this menace of Galamsey. It's unfortunate that it had to take our own staff, Kwesi Nimeje, who has fallen victim to some of these things. But as Selom said, it's bad enough that he goes through such an experience, but it will be worse off if the people get away with it.
Yeah.
If people know that touching an innocent journalist, this is what it will cost you, I think they will advise themselves. And so we are quiet because we are waiting to see where it's going to end.
Okay, we hope the perpetrators are brought to book. Let's wrap up with our final story having to do with the Deputy Ministerial Veterans. The minority boycotted the veterans at the end on Wednesday, based on the usual. I want to have him.
It's called Akpi.
Akpi, yes.
The dance is called Akpi.
I mean, the dance triggered the whole boycott thing. Let me quickly. Sometimes you want to go? We just have a few minutes to go.
Well, I think we should go easy on ourselves with this.
Do you know how to do the Akpi dance to start with?
No. Why do you ask me? Why do you ask me, Selo?
I don't know how.
He's from the both areas. He is in a better place to do it.
You are an all-rounder to start with. You never disappoint.
Give me a chance. They did Akpi around the Heritage Caravan Debes.
That was my first time hearing. I think some people have an issue with the posturing of the minority leader, his type of questions and all that. In all honesty, I don't have a problem with his style of questioning. I do not at all. And people should understand that the vetting is not a job interview. You understand? It's not a job interview where you are required to limit your engagement to, if you like, professional questioning. No, so what? I mean, after that, then what? You pass him or not? It is to profile the person on all fronts. key among which is emotional intelligence and how you can take criticisms and agitations.
Yeah.
It is to showcase the metal that you are made out of. And so, I think we should go easy on ourselves, okay? You may see it as not being fair, okay? But I think that the respondents too could do a better job. I mean, the man says dance.
Would you have danced?
I wouldn't have danced.
Oh, would you have?
But I will just say that, Papa, I can't even dance to save my life. I have not even done some before. So please, spare me this one. We make a joke out of it.
And
we
move
on. That's all I'm saying. You get me? What would you... the man says he doesn't know how to dance.
What can you do?
What can you do? You force him? No. But I won't dance. Then he says, no, you have to. Then, you know...
Back and
then we should just go easy on ourselves. And let's understand that in the last, say, 30 years, I can count the number of people who have been rejected in the process of vetting. Yeah. So it's highly unlikely that they will be rejected. And so we should just go easy. You understand? So the back and forth, minority says we won't do it again, mobile, then we go, then later before you see they sneak back to come and sit down, then chaka, young people, children are watching. The concert is too much. So we just have to calm down. Let Afenyomakin do his job. If he's being offensive, that is a no-go area. But I don't like his style. He's arrogant. He's arrogant how? The man is profiling somebody at a vetting. You know, the people sitting down there, they did not apply for the jobs. Unless somebody has an application letter. They haven't applied for job. They have been appointed. And the appointment is a political appointment based on your political association. So when you come for vetting, they will have to deal with it both vertically and laterally. Simple.
Salom.
Yeah, I mean,
this is the master recruiter. You know that, right? Master recruiter. That thousands of recruitment being on board for recruitment.
I haven't done political recruitment.
He's not done political recruitment. Low-key. I like that. Low-key.
And informally.
Low-key. So he knows what he's saying.
Yes. So great points Hamens makes. So the respondents or the nominees and the people asking the questions, I think a lot of emotional intelligence is required here. I think I like it when he's asking the questions. Yeah. I mean, if you're a lawyer,
it's one of the ones I enjoy his questions.
You enjoy that, you know. And the way sometimes he has nothing.
Yeah.
But
he will find something.
He will find something. I mean, that's it.
And sometimes the vetting process, not much has been gleaned, but when he comes on board,
so I think he's created a reputation for himself. I think it was Babin in 2005-ish, 5, who also tried to do a lot of that.
And Aruna Idrisu too did.
Yes, but Babin really, you know, and yes, but that's fine. But you see, yes, somebody to dance. So when he said someone should dance, and there was resistance, I didn't think he had to push it. Okay. He didn't have to push it because you don't push it. You just find a way and let it go. But then this capricious, whimsical, blah, blah, blah. And we know the history. And I always talk about context. We know the history between himself and the chairman. Because the chairman is new, all those things we started from the beginning, that the chairman is being weak and all of that. He's a politician. These people tell him things. He wants to make a point that he's not weak after all. Yeah. And the same person, you think is bullying you, but you have these numbers and all of that, micro minority, you super majority, you know, what is there to lose, you know. And the person says, no, he doesn't think it's appropriate to let a person dance. You can't turn this place to a dancing floor. Theater. And you want to insist. I think it wasn't the best. And that degenerates and you say you are leaving. And yes, no problem, you can leave. Why do you include people you have vetted already, Suhini and Co? Why do you include them?
He wants to make more impact.
No, but to what end? Is that
I
unfair to
think
him?
he was insisting on getting a response from the guy.
Yeah.
Not necessarily insisting that he danced at all costs.
Okay.
He insisted that allow the guy
to respond.
And I'll take it.
There's no need
And again,
to
the chairman has this thing. I like the chairman, I must say. But this thing of always reminding people that I'm the chairman, it's you don't need to remind people.
I'm the chair.
You see,
chair.
you don't. You see, it's kind of a weakened position that I need to actually
reiterate my position.
And inform you that no, just do your work. Just do your work because you are there because you are the chairman.
I think
so
the
just
pressure gets to him sometimes.
Well, he's a good lawyer and all of that. I think that he's not done this in the open like that. I mean,
there'll always be a first time.
So I think the first time, the expectation of the public that you have this majority, and Afenyo is there disturbing your people,
pushing
and
you all
you're
over
unable to
the
do
place.
anything. So that's
I think
they didn't manage that well.
Do your
Even
work.
though they were talking and doing all of that behind the scenes, etc. The public showing appeared like Afenyo was having his way, and the public was
it's because Afenyo
impatient.
has nothing to lose.
Exactly the point.
He's in opposition.
And I like the point Mahama Yarega made, that he is majority leader. He wants to get government business carried through.
Precisely.
Afenyo can do his drama.
Yes.
But he wants to work.
Yeah.
And that's how it works.
You have more to lose.
You have more to lose. That's how it works.
I tend to see, I don't know, Ricky Hagan, I think he
handled it better.
That's where I'm heading.
Uncle Ricky.
Ricky Hagan. Okay, he has a different personality, so I can
and I think the over loyalization
of the
thing.
vetting.
So speaker, the chairman is a lawyer.
So
when he starts, he kind of has an idea where he wants to go.
Yeah.
And if he thinks that where he wants to go may not be helpful, then he cuts him. And ask another question, or no, the nominee will not answer this question. So that is what it is.
He is okay that he asserts his authority as a chairman. It's okay. But there are times that I think that he should give the opportunity for the nominee to just respond.
Yeah.
I won't let him.
Sometimes it's too overprotective.
When you are cross-examining and the other lawyers, the cross-examiner ask a question of your client, and you don't object quickly if you have to object. If the person answers it, he's answered it already.
Yeah.
So I think it's all of that.
Just what you just said was, if your client, the nominee is not the client of the chairman.
Yes, that's true.
You see, the chairman is like he wants to let the whole world know that these are my people, so don't touch them.
Yeah.
You don't need to overemphasize. That's all I'm saying. So it will maybe there have been times on this kind of transition, Afenyo goes a bit too far on insisting on a particular way of doing it. He can tone down to get a better process.
I'm not on press, especially.
Jesus Christ.
I insist. You can't insist. I mean, what's the worst case scenario?
What kind of English is that?
What's
you insist that what?
What's the worst case scenario? You don't have the numbers. What's the worst case scenario?
No, but insist means what?
So no, I insist.
Oh,
I insist.
Okay.
No.
Gentlemen, I am the host of the show.
And
I insist
that we close.
Thank you so much, Samantha Mesa and Salamadadu. Thank you. It's been great having you guys. And thank you too for watching. Thank you. We'll see you again next week. My name is Vivian Lokko. Goodbye.